Hi there. Benioff and Weiss's recent interview about their big new show for Netflix, Three Body Problem, had an interesting tidbit which I want to split off into a standalone video here to give it more focus. They mentioned in passing in the article that there's a scene that involved filming with 100 naked extras. 100 naked actors. This wasn't done in CGI. And it's not a sex scene. It's, quote, 100 naked actors howling in terror as they suffer a cataclysmic weather event. And from knowing the books, I know what they're referring to, but this scene in the books did not involve nudity. It was a cataclysmic weather disaster. Why are they doing this with 100 naked actors? Well, the other part of this is it's also really insulting the way that the article tried to put a positive spin on this, on their history of gratuitous nudity that became a point that it stopped being funny. Because article is in The Hollywood Reporter with their mouthpiece, James Hibbard. It took us years to realize, even in the early seasons, he was not being honest with us. He is just putting he's their PR guy, putting a positive spin on things. That after explaining that he could have doubled down on it's not sexualized, it's this disaster scene, he goes, oh, but there's only one nude scene in the whole show. The nudity is a one-off, by the way. Unlike Thrones, the first season of Three Body Problem is a sex-free tale, though there is violence. That don't emphasize the lack of sexuality, not, oh, there's only one of them. What, when you crammed over like half a dozen needless and gratuitous brothel scenes into Game of Thrones that were not necessary for the narrative, that this is somehow less by, no, it's by scene count, by body count, by naked body count. This is more naked bodies than they've ever had in like multiple seasons of the show in terms of actors, extras that were on set. And what's the difference? House of the Dragon had nude scenes and sex scenes, particularly episode 4. Well, yeah, because it made sense for them to be visiting a brothel in those scenes as part of a story, or even the Gold Cloaks in episode 1, versus on a long enough timeline, like by Game of Thrones season 2, season 3, that there's just another needless visit to the brothel that served no real purpose, and even people who are defending that this is a mature fantasy show, this isn't Lord of the Rings, it's not meant for kids, this is, you seemingly just really enjoy having these. Does it make you feel like I'm a serious HBO show? Does he do it because he enjoys having naked women around set? We never really figured that out conclusively. But let me explain, apart from their really weak defense, there's only one thing on a massive scale. If you haven't read the Three Body Problem books, what's going on here? And also, there is a Chinese version of this that was made half a year ago, which I talked about in my last video, that Tencent made a 30-episode adaptation of the first book in China that depicted the events they're referring to and didn't need to have nudity in it. Basically, and people say, oh, you're giving too many spoilers. I'm trying to limit it, but this is all in the first book anyway. Aliens from a nearby star system are trying to invade Earth, but it's going to take them years to get here, though they are in communication with human collaborators. Basically a doomsday cult of human collaborators. They are coming and are trying to soften the ground for them. And one of the things they do, the human collaborators, is they make this really realistic VR game with a VR headset, and they use it partially as a recruitment tool and partially as a simulation of the aliens' home planet, in the hope that they can basically crowdsource a solution to the three-body problem, which is devastating the aliens' homeworld. The aliens' homeworld orbits a triple star system. In terms of orbital mechanics, this is one of the most complex and unpredictable things there is, and instantaneously their planet can be flung far away from the suns and flash frozen, destroying their civilization, or it could suddenly get pulled in too close to another one, get burned. Over time, how did these things evolve at all? How did they get spaceflight? Well, they did evolve to go into hibernation periods by literally dehydrating themselves and going dormant for centuries. But the problem is, even with the ability to hibernate, the orbital changes happen so suddenly and unpredictably that they lose thousands of people before they're able to go into hibernation mode and dehydrate. So a sub-faction of the human collaborators thinks maybe if we can make a predictive model for orbiting a triple star system, maybe we can give that to them as a gift and they won't need to conquer our planet anymore. And this is one of several plans that they have, but it's the three-body problem. And the way the VR game depicts this is they don't depict their homeworld as aliens. It is, you look at the sky, it's an alien sky, but they represented it through analogous historical figures. They go, cyclically, our civilization keeps getting dialed back to zero by these climate disasters. So you'll see ancient China in the VR game. And, well, was our analog to Confucius or something, that societal level, and then it's wiped out by being flash frozen. Or they advance to the age of the steam engine, and they're on a train, and then it gets burned. The Chinese adaptation of this by Tencent depicts this, and there's no nudity in it. And it depicts them being wiped out. That's it. Why would you need 100 naked extras to show this is the weather cataclysm when they're being flash frozen and dying? And it wouldn't be sexualized at all on screen, you understand. Why would you need to depict it? I would ask them when this comes up. They were stupid to mention this briefly in the first interview. All you did was give us, oh, it'll give them advanced warning. No, you didn't fully explain why the hell you did this. What, like you're going to wait, we don't want people, it was a half measure. Either don't tell us or give a better explanation, you know? That whenever this comes out in an 8-episode series, whether it's episode 3 or 4-ish, I think, I'm guessing it would be relatively early, people will be asking them, if they never give interviews, but why the hell did you do that? That isn't in the source. I mean, these are people who dodged questions about the Sansa rape. But could they say, oh, we were trying to go for hellish imagery? You know, depictions of hell like Dante, where hell is freezing. Well, it's doomsday. Another thing is like the Sistine Chapel. I've been in there and as a tourist, and you know the guide is explaining everyone is naked to show that on doomsday you can hide nothing from God. And I get that the concept of you're naked, you can't hide anything, judgment is coming. So was this to evoke biblical imagery? Maybe. I mean, this is a big enough change, and the hardcore book fans of Three Body Problem, unlike Game of Thrones, where they waited 4 years to really start changing things, this is the first season, and you're inventing a lot of nudity. Why are you doing this? And the unavoidable suggestion is Benioff just really likes being around naked women on set. The random extras. This is a story that Pedro Pascal actually told us after filming for season 4. That, you know, he's in a brothel scene to show that Oberyn likes going to brothels. He's actually bi. It loosely made sense to kind of have Oberyn in a brothel. But, I mean, they mention that off screen in the book. But he said, when we were done filming, the female extras don't disrobe after every take, because they'd be doing a burlesque show every time. So they stay naked for like an hour or two, because we're filming multiple takes. It's not worth redressing. Fair enough. I think a lot of shows actually do that. And he'd just remark on, we're all working on stuff, and like Benioff is just goofing off in the green room, playing iPhone games with the naked female prostitute extras. And he's not alone in there. It's all, and he said, like Charles dances in the green room surrounded by these naked women trying to read the newspaper, and harumphing that Benioff is goofing around like this. And this is the guy who keeps saying, I am on set every day. I am working hard. And like, you weren't literally everywhere. It's more than one person can do. And you couldn't be in simultaneous places, and we frequently hear stories about when you weren't micromanaging people, you were goofing off. So, which is it? But we never had a full picture of this, but he seems to get this juvenile excitement out of, I got naked extras around. The theory Westeros.org had at first was, like season 2-ish, they're trying to impress people with, look how mature our show is. Nudity equals edginess. And I increasingly realized it's not about that, it's about them. That there's that big quote we have from season 2 where the director of the Blackwater episode said an executive producer who shall remain nameless insisted to me that the prostitute on Bronze Lap needed to take her bottom off as well. And he said it doesn't really serve the scene. And the producer told him, I represent the perv side of the audience, and damn it, I want full frontal nudity. So, to an extent, maybe some of the nudity stuff in Game of Thrones was, they thought, well, we're giving the audience what they want, but relative to other HBO shows, it got weird. I don't really know. And let me be very clear. I genuinely don't believe, or it doesn't matter, I don't think Benioff was doing anything illegal or untoward with these people, you understand, with these naked actors. I'm not implying that whatsoever. I'm not even trying to imply, oh, he was doing consensual things. I don't think he touched them or did, casting couch things or anything like that. Somehow that would seem more par the course for Hollywood. It just, from the description of people on set like Pascal, he's this man-child who gets this unusual giddiness out of, there's naked women all around. Not that he does anything with them, it's just, what? So mentally step back and realize, even if this imagery loosely makes sense kind of artistically as well, it's a hellscape like Dante, with people freezing in hell, because they're the flash freezing of the planet, this translates into 100 actors on set for a full day, naked, waiting for the cameras to roll, just as when he was in the green room playing iPhone games with naked women. And maybe it'll make sense in the context of the thing, that it'll look like this hellscape. I actually think we saw it in the trailer. I'm not going to show a screenshot of this, but it happens at 2 minutes and 2 seconds to 2 minutes and 5 seconds, where it looks like a character is caught in a blizzard and you see dark figures walking around. They might be naked. So, but in the context of the books, there's a scene where the society gets destroyed. Maybe, but why is this in here and you're remarking on it so flippantly in your first interview? There's a scene with 100 naked extras. Was it an even ratio of men and women? Because because he has been criticized for this before on his other show. That is why this is an issue with him and not... And if this was anyone else making this, we wouldn't be as suspicious of it. But it's still pretty damn weird, and the question I want to leave you all with, I don't want this to run 20 minutes. Game of Thrones didn't have intimacy coordinators because intimacy coordinators weren't a thing throughout the run of the show, so I can't blame them for that. That only really started when the streaming boom started in 2019. So I can't blame them. It wasn't common practice. Now it is. And there's sex scenes in True Detective Season 4 is on right now, and there was articles today about last episode remarking on, and we used intimacy coordinators. I know that House of the Dragon used intimacy coordinators for Season 1 as well. Emily Carey has talked about this a lot, so has Millie Alcock. I know that there are intimacy coordinator contract requirements for sex scenes involving sexual content, sexual activity, and interaction. Do you need that watchdog on set, that third-party watchdog to make sure everything's okay for non-sexual nude scenes? Because a lot of the stuff that Emilia Clarke and Natalie Emmanuel and other female cast members were uncomfortably going through, and it stopped being funny, was, let's invent a needless bath scene. That Natalie Emmanuel has this needless bath scene in Season 4, and that one where, oh no, it's it's Daenerys walking up to Dario out of her bath naked to show that she's not afraid of him. Or the many times Melisandre was naked, and this serves no purpose, and it's not technically a sex scene. So what is the thing to make sure? Is the actor comfortable with that or not? Is this a needless requirement that, no, you do not need to ask them to do that? And I know actor contracts have nudity clauses in them. And particularly for the background actors, I mean, for like background brothel people, they hired you to be naked brothel workers, so, they did sign up for that, but particularly the main actors, can you just ask someone, we want to do a full frontal shower scene, and we don't need an intimacy coordinator because there's technically no one else is on in there, there's no sex. Can you do that? So I don't know what the legal situation of that is, but it's just this funny quote of, oh no, it's toned down from Game of Thrones. There's only one scene with nudity that has 100 naked actors in it that wasn't even in the book. What?